Hello there. Welcome to Introductory Financial Accounting and Score. Today, I want to look at a question from November 2022. Still working on question papers. So, on this question paper, we are going to prepare a statement of profit or loss for question 4.1. So, if you go to our question, you see that this is the question that we have in terms of question 4 on that question paper of November 2022. Right, the question reads, the following trial balance appeared in the books of Jacob's Electronics Kitchen Appliances on 31 July 2019. And on the required part, we are only going to look at 4.1 according to this video, whereby we are going to draw up the statement of profit or loss of Jacob's Electronics Kitchen Appliances on 31 July 2019. And our question is got 22 marks. So this is what we have. And then we can go to the information that we are given in that question. So you see that this is the information that we have in terms of trial balance of Jacob's Electronic Kitchen Appliances on 31 July 2019. And we are given the debit column and the credit column, and the details are on this far end, whereby we have got the balance section, the figures that we are given there as balances as we go down at the question. So you can go down to check what we have. We have got the nominal account section again. This is what we have. And on additional information, we have the merchandise was valued at 195,615 rands after a physical inventory taking on 31 July 2019. So what does it mean? It means this figure that we are given on additional information is representing our closing inventory. Remember, we are going to calculate the cost of sales, whereby we are going to subtract inventory in that formula. So we're going to pick our closing inventory from this section. So this is what we have. And remember, when we are in this statement of profit and loss, we are going to start with the figure for revenue. We are going to start with the figure for revenue. This is our statement of profit and loss of Jacob's Electronic Kitchen. That is at 31 July 2019. But the figure that we are going to start with there is going to be the figure for revenue. So we have got revenue at the beginning of that statement. And then we can go to the question now to check what figure do we have in terms of revenue. Revenue is the sales figure. So here it's representing our revenue, the sales figure. So the revenue we have is 870,200. So we are going to enter that one on that section with 870,200. So this is what we have. Then from revenue, you can also check if there are any returns in terms of sales. Sales returns, there might be returns inwards, they are also subtracted from the figure for revenue. But if you go to our question, to check if we have got those ones, the sales returns, you see, if we go down, we do not have such there. So it means we are not going to subtract them. And if they were there, we're going to say the figure for sales there, then we subtract our sales returns or returns inwards in brackets so that we get the net sales figure there. That is going to represent the revenue. So in this question we don't have, so we are going to the next stage whereby we are going to say less. Whenever we say less, we are subtracting. So less cost of sales. Less cost of sales. So on less cost of sales, we are going to calculate it beneath this. So we're going to have to put our formula there of calculating cost of sales. Remember the formula, we say opening inventory or opening stock, we add purchases. If there are any purchase returns, we subtract. Then you add your carriage or purchase if they are there, and custom duties if they are there, you also add. And then lastly, you have to subtract the trading, the closing trading inventory that is on the additional information that we have there. So in a way, we can try to maybe to bring it in a formula, on the formula of calculating the cost of sales. So cost of sales, what we are saying cost of sales, we get it by saying our opening inventory that we have, it's opening inventory, opening stock. Then we add our purchases there. If they are in returns that are there, you subtract the returns of purchases, you subtract them there, and then you add your carriage inwards if they are there, and then also if we've got customs duties, we also add them here, customs duties. So this is what we have. Then lastly, you have to subtract your closing inventory. So this is what we have there. So this is the formula that we have for for calculating cost of sales. So this is the same criteria that we are going to use there by starting with open inventory. Then we list purchases, check for any returns, any carriages. So this is what we have. It means beneath that the figure that we're going to start that with the year is opening inventory. So for opening inventory, go to the question and check. And usually the opening inventory is given in the balance sheet section there in the plans that we are given. Come here, you see that we have got a figure for inventory 1 August 2018. That's why the year is starting. So 70,240 becomes our opening inventory. So we've got 70,240 as our opening inventory. So you can put it here, 70,240. So remember this, we left a space here for cost of sales. That's where we're going to put the figure for cost of sales here. So for opening inventory, remember we are adding purchases. So we can say plus our purchases. So we go to our person, see if we have what figure do we have in terms of our purchases there. So here we are saying purchases. Then we check the figure that we have for purchases in the person. Obviously, we have on the nominal account section. So this is 715,570 rands for purchases. And then if there are any purchase returns, we are supposed to subtract them so that we put the net purchase figure there. But we don't have any returns in terms of purchases. So we are going to pick this figure and transfer it there. So we are here. We are saying the figure that we have for purchases is 715,570. And also, you are supposed to add your carriages. If you've got any carriage on purchases or they are carriage inwards, you are supposed to put them here. And any custom duties again are also supposed to be here. So we can check for those items if we have them in our question. You see that we have carriage on sales and carriage on purchases. So the one that is going to be part of the formula for calculating cost of sales is only carriage on purchases. So we can pick this one, 30,000. And then for custom duties, also we see that we have got custom duties that are there. They are also supposed to be added there. So we are picking these two figures and we are going to add them there in the formula to lead us to cost of sales. So here we are saying here we have added purchases. So believe that we are now saying plus carriage on purchases. Plus carriage on purchases. And if we check in the list of balance that we are given there, we see that we are given it as 30,000. So here we are supposed to put our 30,000, and then we have got also our customs duties. We are supposed to add them again here plus customs duties. Then the figure for customs duties that we are given there is 34,760. 34,760. So this is the figure that we have there. 34,760. So this is what we have in terms of customs duty. Then when we have added there, we can add then to get the total for inventory available for use. So if we add all the figures that we have there, the figure that we are going to get here, which is now you add 70,240, you add 715,570 plus 30,000 plus 34,760. The answer that we are supposed to get there is 850,570. 850,570. And we are saying this figure is representing inventory available for use. So here we are saying inventory available for use. So this is what we have here. It's representing our inventory available for use. Then I believe that now we are supposed to subtract the closing inventory. We are supposed to subtract the closing inventory. So now we are saying less trade the inventory. This is at the end, which is at 31 July 2019. 31 July 2019. This is our closing inventory. But we've got that information in the additional information, remember? So we are just going to check it, what do we have in terms of our additional information. There, you can just go there to check what we have. We come here now, we see now the figure for closing inventory that we are given there under additional information. The merchandise was valued at 195,615 rands after physical inventory checking on 31 July 2019. So this is our closing inventory. So we can just pick this figure there and put it there as representing our closing inventory. So the figure that we have there for closing inventory is 195,650. 615. And remember, we are saying less here, it means we are subtracting. So you can just show by putting some brackets there. So this is what we have. Now we are now saying the figure for inventory available for use. We subtract the figure for trading, for closing trading inventory at the end there. And then the answer that we are going to get there is going to represent now the cost of sales. So let's try to calculate that. 850,000. 570, then you say minus 195,615 there. Let's try to see what we get there. So if you calculate correctly there, you are going to see that the answer that you are going to get for cost of sales will be 654,955. So it's going to come now in line with our figure, our description of cost of sales that we have here. So we are going to put our answer here now. So that's what we are going to do there. Then our answer is 654. We are saying it's 654,955. And remember, we are saying less here, cost of sales. So whenever we say less, we are subtracting. So we show by putting our brackets that we are subtracting. And then we also have to close here to show that whatever is in the box here, we close to show that whatever is in the box here is calculating the figure for cost of sales. So this is what we have there. Then we can now go down. We can now go down to see what we can beneath now the cost of sales. Where are we going? From there now, that's when we are going to find our gross profit. So the figure that is going to come here, the figure that is going to come here is our gross profit. So here we are going to have our gross profit. So to find our gross profit now, we are going up there to say for the figure that we have for revenue minus cost of sales. So if you come here, you see that here now, you say here is the figure that we have for sales. Sales we've got 870,200. Then you subtract the figure for cost of sales, which is 654,955. Then you get the figure for gross profit now. The figure for gross profit that you are supposed to get there, which is correct, is 215,245. 215,245. So this is the figure that we have for our gross profit. So we go down to put the figure for our gross profit here. So we're saying for gross profit now, the figure that we have there is 200. We are saying 215,245. So 215,245. And remember, this is a positive figure, so we're going to leave it like this. Here, you might also get a gross loss. If it's a gross loss, it means your answer here you're supposed to leave it in what? In brackets. But this one is a positive one, so we call it gross profit. So this is what we have. Then from there, we are going to go to plus other income. We're going to look for other income in the question. So after gross profits, we are going to the section. We are going to the section of other income. So we are going to say we add other income. So we are saying plus other income. Here we are saying plus other income. Then we look in the question, what income do we have in the question there? So you can go to this part there to look for other incomes that we may have in the question. So if you go down, you see that we have got rent income that is here. It's also an income. We pick another income that we have. We've got interest income here, and then we also have discount income that is there. So these are the only incomes that we have in the question. So we're going to list them on other income section, and then we add them to the figure of gross profit. So we can pick the figures that we have. Rent income, we've got 35,000, and then interest income, we've got 44,000, then discount income, 66,000. So these are the figures that we are going to put there. So if you come here now, we are saying now we have got rent income, and you see that the figure that we have for rent income is 35,000. So here we're leaving it blank here because we have got plus other income description that we have here. So then the total for other income, we're going to put it here again. So we have rent income, and according to the question again, we have interest income. Then for interest income, remember the figure that we have there is 44,000. We can go back just to verify that figure. Interest income 44,000, then discount income 66,000. So this is what we have. So on interest income, we are saying we have 44,000. Then for the last one, which is our discount income, for discount income, the figure that we have for discount income is 66,000. So these are all the incomes that we have in the question. Then you can close the to show the total. When we add the three now, the total is going to come here to represent the total for other income. So we're going to say 35,000 plus 44,000 plus 66,000. Then the figure that you are going to get there is 145,000. 145,000. And remember, we are saying plus, so we are adding it to the figure from gross profit that we have there. And then the answer is going to come here as our gross income for the year. So if you add the 215,245, you add to 145,000, and the total that you are supposed to get here is 360,245. 360,245. And this figure is now our gross income. Gross income. Then from gross income now, we are going to the operating expenses. So here we are having our heading of operating expenses. So we are going to list all the operating expenses that we have in the question. Beneath that, then the total of operating expenses will now come here in line with the description for operating expenses. And these operating expenses, you are supposed to subtract them, so you can just put a less here so that you don't confuse in terms of adding and subtracting. So we can now go and see what operating expenses do we have in the question. So for our operating expenses, we are going to start here, go down to check what operating expenses do we have. Remember, we've got carriage on sales here. Carriage on sales is comes under the section of our operating expenses, but carriage on purchase is the one that we are supposed to put in the trading account there when you are now calculating the cost of sales. So here we are picking carriage on sales. We've got 21,630. So you can go and include this one. We have carriage on sales. And the figure that we have for carriage on sales, figure for carriage on sales, we have got 21,630. So we are saying 21,000 here, 21,630. And then we go and pick again what other operating expenses we have. We go down. Rent income is an income, it's not an expense. Wages and salaries here, it's also an operating expense. And we are seeing customs duties. We put customs duties in the trading account, calculating cost of sales. So we can jump this one. We have interest income, it's an income, not an expense. Discount income, again, income, not an expense. And then fuel is another, it's also an operating expense, which is 3,480. So we can pick these two, wages and salaries and fuel. Wages and salaries, we've got 541,380. So we can go and include these two. Here we are saying wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. And the figure that we have for wages and salaries there is 541,380. And then also we have fuel here. And the figure for fuel that we have there is 3,480. And we can go and check other operating expenses that we have in the question. So after fuel, we've got insurance here, and also we've got advertising here. Insurance 2,870, and advertising 6,620. So we can go and include them. We are now having insurance. So for the figure for insurance, we are saying we have 2,870. And then the figure for advertising, the figure for advertising that we have is 6,620. Then we can go to check other operating expenses that we have. We are left with telephone and repairs. They are all operating expenses. So the other hint that you can have is that whatever is on the debit side, remember this one is the debit side, and this one is the credit side. Whatever is on the debit side represents an expense, and income comes on the credit side. So we have got telephone is 3,750, and then we've got repairs 3,790. So we can just go and put them as they are the last ones that we have there. So we are having telephone, and then the figure for telephone that we have is 3,650. And then lastly, we have got repairs. The figure for repairs that we have is 3,790. So this marks the end of our operating expenses. Remember, we are at the end there, then we have additional information. So we can add to get our total for operating expenses. So what are we saying? We are adding 21,630, 541,380 plus 3,480 plus 2,870 plus 6,620 plus 3,650 plus 3,790. Then we can close here to put the total here to represent this is our total operating expense. So if you add all of this, total comes here. So if you add correctly there, you are supposed to get 583,420. 583,420, and this total for operating expenses, and we are saying less here, so it means we are subtracting. So we can show by brackets that we are subtracting from this figure of 360,245. So this is what we have. So we can now say to get our final figure, which is net loss or profit, we are now saying gross income minus operating expenses. Gross income minus operating expenses, then you get your net profit or loss there. So what happens is if the gross income is less than the operating expenses like this, it means when you say 360,245 minus 583,420, you're going to get a negative figure. So if you get a negative figure, that's a net loss. It means we have a net loss. We have made a loss. So, but if gross income is greater than operating expenses, it means the answer that you are going to get there by subtracting is going to be a positive figure. So that positive figure represents now a net profit. So in this case, we are going to have a net loss since we are having a smaller figure of our gross income. So we subtract the two here. The answer that you are supposed to get there should now come beneath the year now to represent your net loss there. So if you calculate correctly there, you're going to get 223,000. 223,175. 223,175. And we are saying it's a negative figure, so we should put it in brackets. And then here we call it net loss. Net loss. So here, that's why it is important. This term is going to be determined by the sign of the answer that we are getting here. Here we are getting a negative, so it's a loss. If it's a positive, it becomes a profit. So this is the net loss for the year. So this is our final figure in this statement of profit and loss. So this is what we have, guys, in terms of this video. We are going to come with more videos. Those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share. We are still coming. Let's stay notified by subscribing. and turning on the notification button. So this is what we have. Yes, sir.